A new year is finally here and you are pumped. No more DoorDash, you said. Cancel that Amazon Prime, you said. Slowdowns on the vacations, you said.
Ooh, I've been saying that.
But here you are, still sitting at a job that you hate, overwhelmed with debt, and no real commitment to discovering the life that God has called you to. In this video, I'm going to give you the blueprint of how you are going to finally step into financial freedom this year and keep it. Do I have your attention? Okay, yeah, keep watching.
5, 10, 20, 50, 100, pass it around.
Hey friend, my name is Elena and I am here to help you live a rich life in Christ. Yes, you heard that right. I said a rich life, but I'm not merely talking about just getting the bag. There are thousands of videos that can do just that. A rich life is an abundant life. It's a life of order, of peace, of alignment, of walking out and doing the things that God has called you to do. In John 10:10, Jesus is talking to the people and he makes a very powerful statement that I am sure you might be familiar with. He says that the thief comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy, but I have come so that they may have life and life abundantly. Now there's something interesting though. In the NLT version, the words abundant life actually is replaced with a rich and satisfying life. Now if we dive a little bit deeper though, a rich and satisfying life in the Greek actually is the word zoe, which means an abundant and divine spiritual life that is transformed through our intimacy with God. But let's be honest, maybe you clicked on this video because you don't feel like you're living a Zoe life. You feel like you're living the first part of John 10:10. Maybe your fear is stealing your dreams and doing the things that God has called you to do. Maybe debt and bills are destroying your peace. Maybe your idolization for looking like you got the bag is killing your devotion to the Lord.
Okay, now wait just 1 second, glasses.
I can relate so much because 10 years ago, I was in the same exact place. I was barely into my new big girl job and I had no knowledge about how to handle my money right. And this was a problem because I had a 585 credit score and over $100,000 of debt that included credit cards, student loans, all the things you can think of. And it was frustrating because I knew that this was not all that God had for me, but I didn't know how to get from struggling to living in financial freedom, living the Zoe. Until one day I got real about my situation and the Lord revealed to me that it wasn't about money at all, really. My poor discipline with money only exposed what was inside of my heart. I praised God with my lips, but I actually didn't trust him with my finances. Okay, let's be honest. I really didn't trust him with anything. Career, marriage, getting a man. So after that kind of come to Jesus, I decided to lock in and I ended up paying off over $100,000 of debt. But not only that, my life was truly changed forever. So let's change yours. I am going to give you 6 steps of what I believe will help you to jumpstart this journey and living in the abundance and the freedom that God has called us to live in. The first step that I want you to do when you're talking about getting financially free and starting to live towards this dream of living a rich and abundant life is to start dreaming again. I believe that when you are struggling with finances, it really robs you of the dreams and hearing from the Lord of what you're supposed to be doing. What is actually your rich life? This term is inspired by Ramit Sethi, a financial coach and entrepreneur, where he talks about identifying the things that actually bring you joy and using a financial strategy to help you to get towards that life, not just creating a new budget. But we're going to take it a step further because everything's spiritual. I want you to grab a piece of paper or a journal, honestly, because I'm going to give you a lot of steps. You're going to have a lot of homework in this video. On that paper, I want you to write down the question, what would my life look like if money was not an issue? What missions or churches or organizations would I help and give generously to? What would I actually start that I've been afraid to start because of my insecurities and because I can't afford to leave my job? I want you to be inspired. I want you to dream again. I don't want you to think about any limitations, just write. But here's the tea though. Every time you mishandle money, you are saying no to that vision that you are writing on that piece of paper. So on the flip side, I want you to write down some excuses that you have been having for why you can't get financially free.
Why you keep on saying tomorrow?
Is it because, oh, everyone dies with student loans? Or, oh, no one in my family has ever been good with money? Or, oh, I'll have time later. Or, oh, I just want to live right now. And if I get disciplined, then I can't enjoy my life. What are the things that are holding you back in your head mentally from getting there? What are the thoughts that are stealing, that are killing, and that are destroying your opportunity to have a rich and abundant life? Ooh, we need to sit with that.
I'm sorry.
After you do those two things, I want you to put it in a place where you can go revisit it often, because paying off debt and starting to transform these thoughts can be hard. It can be discouraging at times. And so you need to go back to this vision that God has placed inside of you. And I believe that as you begin to be obedient with your money and your finances, He is going to fine tune that vision. He is going to give you so much more than you could ever think. Okay, that Ephesians 3:20. So the second step I want you to do is to learn your numbers. I say this all the time, that people perish for the lack of knowledge. So why don't you know when your bills are due? This is your year that you are going to confidently know every single number of yours. So take that journal or that piece of paper. I want you to figure out these three numbers. Number one, every bill and due date that comes out monthly, including subscriptions. How much is your rent? How much is the Amazon Prime subscription? How much is Netflix? How much is that Best Buy subscription that you forgot that you signed up for a year ago? I'm talking to myself. What is every single bill, utilities, mortgage, whatever it is? What is every single bill that comes out every month and their due dates? I want you to write it down. The second number that I want you to look at is your debt and the interest of each debt. So maybe you have a credit card that you owe $536 on, but the interest is 28%. I want you to know both of those numbers. So you can look this up by going into your bank and looking up the statements. It will give you every statement from the last year. The last thing that I want you to know, this is weird to do. The last thing that I want you to know, number 3, is your credit score. This is so easy to find. You can log onto your bank app and now they have it right there. Or I want you to go into Credit Karma, create an account, or log in if you haven't in a while. And I want you to sit in the reality of what your credit score is. Maybe I'll make a whole video on just credit and all of that. Comment below if you want me to do that. Just like your vision statement, I want you to put these numbers in a place that you can revisit them often. I have an Excel spreadsheet. It's very basic that I use, but I look at it every single week just to make sure that I know when things are due. All right, step number 3, I want you to stop the bleeding. This is the step where you are going to identify where you spend the most money. And it's honestly the most sobering step out of all the steps. Girl, where is all your money going? Is it food? Is it shopping? Is it going to vacations with friends? Is it DoorDash?
Help me, I'm poor.
Look at your statements, especially maybe over the last 3 to 6 months, and find the pattern. Maybe even tally up how much you spent in categories that were unaccounted for to see that you absolutely have extra money to save and to throw towards your debt. It is such a sobering step, but it is powerful. Okay, so we wrote the vision, we made it plain, right? We know our numbers. We are not perishing for the lack of knowledge. We are stopping the bleeding. Great. The 4th step that I want you to do is to set a Q1 savings goal. So a savings goal for the next 3 months. Not having a savings is the number 1 reason for instability. I want you to get into the habit of setting money aside or setting money to pay off some type of debt. What you're going to do is you're going to take those bills, because now you know your numbers, right? And you're going to calculate 1 month of expenses. So what is it? And I'm not talking about like your gym membership. I'm not talking about anything like that is not a necessity. I'm talking about your necessity to live. What is your rent? What is your utilities? What is your cell phone? What is your internet? Any of those things, I want you to tally up for your first month of expenses. If it was me, I would put it in a high yield savings account, which is an account that actually accrues interest and pays you. So I have all of my money in a high yield savings account, and I think I made like $500 last year by the money just sitting there. And it's much better than just having your money sit in the bank. Some accounts that I use Ally personally, but you can use SoFi. There's so many around. So if you are a baller and you have at least a month of expenses, the goal is actually 3 to 6 months of expenses. Really, it's like 6 to 12 with this economy. But if you already have at least a month of expenses in your savings account, then your savings goal is actually to pay off your smallest debt. I want you to work off to pay as much as you can in the next 3 months. To do this, you can commit to a no buy or a slow buy of the thing that maybe was bleeding your account. So I'm not saying cut it out completely, but I am saying that now we're being more mindful, and that if you're cutting back on food or if you're cutting back on shopping, you can take that money that you would have spent and put it towards your debt. So this is your 3-month goal, and I know you can do it, or at least make some significant damage towards it. The other challenge that I want you to do in the next 3 months is to cut out credit cards completely.
No! God, please, no! No!
Yes, I am strict over here. Credit cards are our financial handicap, you guys. The next 3 months, okay, this is not forever. For the next 3 months, I want you to commit to deleting the credit cards off your phone, in your computer, where you can easily just tap it and it puts it in. If you want to be drastic like I was, you can literally, with some scissors, cut it. The reason why I say for the next 3 months to do this is to build trust with ourselves. We are redefining our relationship with money. And in order to do that, you have to cut out the handicap. So if you know that credit cards is something that you fall back on, that you are abusing, I really highly suggest that as you're paying down this debt, as you are working on your savings goal, that you are cutting out credit cards completely. You will be surprised at how much you depend on them. And we depending on Jesus, okay? We are depending on the Lord to provide. We are not depending on these credit cards. They gotta stop being our provider, okay? We got a God for that. Woo, we have made it to the last step. Do you feel beat up? You shouldn't. You should feel inspired. So number 6 is a giving goal. God loves a giver because God is a giver. I am a witness that as my desire to give to God's church and God's missions and organizations grew, my Zoe life, my rich life literally grew. And I'm not talking about just finances. I'm talking about joy and peace and all of the fruits of the Spirit. Giving is so powerful because it forces us to not be so self-centered. So I want you to find one thing that you can commit to in the next 3 months in Q1. Maybe it's giving a small portion or 10% or even more than that to your local church or organization. Maybe it's volunteering at your local soup kitchen. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I want you to do it because you trust the Lord, and I want you to do it cheerfully. Okay, so let's wrap this up. You're going to find out your vision. You're going to know your numbers. You're going to stop the bleeding. And then you're going to move on to the challenge, which is you're going to save at least 1 month of expenses or start paying towards your smallest debt. You're going to cut out your credit cards completely, and you are going to start giving in whatever small or big capacity that the Lord maybe puts on your heart to do. This channel is dedicated to helping you live that Zoe life, to helping you live a rich life through Christ. If you follow these steps to jumpstart your journey, I promise you that your life and your habits will change forever. So lace up your boots, hey, put on your backpack, hey. It's time to ride. I will see you in the next video. Comment below if it helped. Bye.